Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Vendo Velocity. We're so glad that you joined us today in the thick of all things Black Friday, Cyber Monday here. So thank you for taking the time to tune in to this podcast with us. If this is your first time joining us, I'm your host, Delaney Del Mundo, and I lead our TikTok shop and Amazon strategy teams here at Vendo. And what we do on this podcast is we go live every other Tuesday and discuss the latest and greatest strategic updates and platform updates across the marketplace space. So all things Amazon, Walmart.com, TikTok shop, retail media, paid search and social. If you want to know more about any of those things, this is a great place to learn more. So enough about the podcast, enough about me. What's really important is that we shift gears here and introduce my guest. And especially important because this is his very first time on the podcast. And I'm pretty sure he just celebrated his 1-year anniversary at Vendo too. But it really does sound and feel like it's been years that we've had him because he's made such a significant impact to our TikTok shop team. So Alex, before I hype you up further, why don't you just give us a rundown of what you do here at Vendo and all of the different hats that you manage and what your day-to-day looks like.
Thank you, Delaney. It's such an honor to be on the podcast, and I hope to do more of these. Like she said, my name is Alex Heflin. I work as a associate and strategist on our TikTok shop team. And I've pretty much a wide compass of what I'm able to do, diving in on the day-to-day basis on each account. So working on the back end, making sure all these products are optimized and listed properly. And I kind of get a feel of the creators and the sampling. And then also on the bigger side, so getting to pull together some strategies moving forward for brands and kind of have that ability to get creative is something that I'm super excited to be able to do on a daily basis and allow those ideas to flow.
Absolutely. So as Alex kind of prefaced here, today we're diving deep into one of the most rapidly evolving, highest velocity ecosystems that we have seen in e-commerce in the last 2 years, and that is TikTok Shop. And with Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up this week and December's Deals for You days, which has already kicked off in November, this has been some of the biggest digital spikes that TikTok Shop specifically has ever seen. And it's the perfect time for us here at Vendo to unpack what's really working across the TikTok Shop ecosystem and work to kind of shift gears around some of the misconceptions around TikTok Shop specifically, because there are a lot of ideas of what TikTok Shop might be and its contribution to the e-commerce space and the impact that it has on Amazon or D2C. And we're here to shore up a lot of those questions that you guys might have. So please, if you have any questions throughout this podcast, drop them in the chat and we'll make sure that we both address them here. But let's talk about our topic for today. Alex, starting off here, I want to talk about the biggest topic we'll cover, which is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Deals for You days. Now, this is where TikTok Shop becomes a different beast. Why are these campaigns and participating in these campaigns so mission critical for brands? And why do you think planning 6 to 8 weeks in advance, and correct me on that, Alex, if you feel that it needs more or less planning, is so necessary for brands to achieve success during these events?
Yeah, great point. I honestly, the biggest thing about these Deals for You days campaigns, Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns, or any campaigns for that matter, is just the awareness on the platform. So setting a discount, usually most campaigns have a minimum discount requirement to join them. And then at that point, you get that slight visibility boost depending on how big your coupon is. So you can go over to your shop tab on TikTok and see on the front page, you'll see at least 1 or 2 items where it says something like 50 or 60% off. And then other items, on the back end that you might search for have that smaller discount of, 5% to 20%. And to your point, yeah, 6 to 8 weeks is probably going to be the absolute best time period to start preparing beforehand. Reason being is that you want to market your launches around these dates. You want to have your products released prior to these campaigns starting. You're able to enroll them. TikTok's made a lot of changes in the last few months, allowing you to enroll products in the middle of the campaign, towards the end. You could literally do it on the last day just to gather that little bit of visibility, which I think has helped a lot of brands in the meantime and allowed them to feel more safe with setting these discounts, knowing we can opt them in and out at any point, or set a duration during that time.
Absolutely. And the important thing to remember about TikTok Shop and how it differentiates from other platforms is that it is an algorithm, but it is an algorithm that is fed by content and velocity, right? So during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, during Deals for You days, TikTok pushes shopping ads, promotional campaigns, and live content harder across the For You page. And if any of you use TikTok, you know that you could get easily sucked into your For You page for hours per day, right? So that's why these campaigns really matter, is because the algorithm gives them preference and rewards those SKU level velocities. So if you're investing more deeply into your hero SKU during this time and you're stacking some deeper discounts with affiliate momentum, and then you're amplifying that with paid earlier on during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, then the algorithm is going to lock in those SKUs as higher converters, and it's going to prioritize them more organically across the shop, PDPs, live shopping, etc. And then on top of that, TikTok is going to help to promote those deals for you, right? That's one of the biggest things that a lot of our brands don't really understand, is that participating in these events is most beneficial because TikTok Shop will amplify that exposure too, right? Like, we work with different category managers and they're always asking for top performing products and top performing videos because they have the ability to boost those in the back end. So like I said, whether that's For You page discovery, whether that's some live shopping events, you'll see deal days, that brand days that TikTok will offer as well, shop tab ranking, creator storefronts, right? These are all different placements that you can have within the TikTok Shop ecosystem simply because you're participating on a deal. And then the very last thing I wanted to call out was just the lift that we see after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? You're typically seeing some lower CPAs on TikTok Shop, but if you're driving velocity during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you're going to achieve some higher organic ranking. So because of that, going into Q1, if you have a more seasonal product for New Year, New You, then you'll be able to achieve those lower CPAs through Q1 as well. So there's many benefits outside of just, hey, I'm offering a discount just like every other brand. TikTok Shop is prioritizing that within their algorithm. But yes, Alex, thank you for your answers there. Let's talk a bit more about tactics specifically. When you think of our best Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategies, what do brands often underestimate?
I think the one biggest thing is just the amount of impact that that algorithm boost has, in that 6 to 8 time period, or 6 to 8 week time period, is mostly so you could get the items out. You want to sample that to affiliates, and I think coming into TikTok Shop, a lot of brands underestimate the power of affiliates. A lot of them want to focus on their organic side, or they're kind of hoping that we can just run ads, but the affiliate content is what drives everything on TikTok. And I think that that's also another point, is when you look at TikTok compared to Instagram or Amazon, it's a completely different beast, to Delaney's point. TikTok is all inclusive, where you go to Instagram and you're scrolling and you might see an ad for something, whether, let's say it's a shirt. You'll click on that ad and it'll direct you to like a pop-up browser. And in order to purchase, you might have to go to an external browser, and then you have to research the brand and make sure. So that halo effect would come into play going to Amazon or TikTok or just their D2C site. Whereas for TikTok, all it is just one click and the shop immediately pops up. You have the rating. And that's also something that TikTok's been trying to focus more on, is improving their stability on the platform, their reliability, you could say, compared to Amazon. Because TikTok initially was just a halo effect. They wanted their creators to post content, even if it wasn't shoppable. They wanted to move them over to Amazon, to Walmart, Instagram, their D2C, all those different sites. So I think that brands are slowly starting to realize, hey, if we start mass sampling out these new products right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, not only are we going to see a lift on the platform, but we'll also see that halo effect come into play.
Absolutely. I really want to highlight what you're talking about there, Alex, because the affiliate ramp time is real, right? We often have brands coming to us, call it in December, and they're like, hey, January is a peak time for us. Let's get going. And it's like, well, hold on there. We definitely need 6 to 8 weeks to ramp up. And the reason why is that creators don't promote what they don't already trust, right? And that's a difficulty for a lot of brands in the cold start phase, because if you haven't built that trust and credibility for your product, then creators, quite frankly, aren't going to be interested in that product. So what does that entail? Well, you need to send out samples very early, beyond the 8 weeks if you can. You need very clear commission guidance as well, right? How are you strategically incentivizing your creators with commission rate and beyond commission rate? What we do at Vendo too is we build storyboards of proof of concept ideas and trends, right? So Alex and team are often saying, hey, these are some top performing brands in the space, and this is what they're doing in terms of their content. This is what's starting to trend in the space. Let's get ahead of that so we're not behind on some of these trends as well, right? So you're really building that funnel in advance, which is why it makes the most sense for you to incorporate a ramp time for affiliates. But then number two, Alex, I want to touch on this with you because we've seen it too bad time and time again, is inventory constraints, right? Once brands are able to get going, they've started to really impact the flywheel, and then suddenly they blow through their stock and they're out of stock during tentpole periods. Talk a little bit about how important it is that we are well stocked on TikTok Shop more than even other platforms, just due to the nature of the platform, and how we at Vendo can get ahead of some of those challenges.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we have to pitch to any brand, or that I would pitch to any brand, jumping into TikTok Shop, is be ready to put your front foot forward. You don't want to be on TikTok and be on your back foot constantly with, you're sending out a tiny bit of inventory every few weeks just to stay in supply and demand. Biggest thing is to set it up as if you're going full force and expect to sell out. That's what I like to tell every brand is, that's the validity of TikTok. It's one day you could sell all of your inventory, or, that inventory could sit for 6 months. You never know. And then also the biggest thing is we try and pitch mass sampling, getting a lot of products out and then allowing a lot of, customers and creators to both purchase the product themselves. And to combat that, that's why we need that 6 to 8 week mark. Just letting those brands know that we need that time to, gather inventory, make sure all the product listings are good to go, and then expect to sell out, because more often than not, that does happen for a lot of our brands. And we're stuck with, that 3 weeks of, oh, well, we don't have inventory until, the first of the month. So we try and stock up as much as possible, because you do never know what might happen.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about a graduated commission structure, and that just means the more you're willing to invest into an affiliate and the more they've shown proof of concept in the past, the more you're willing to incentivize them with higher commission, right? So almost creating cohorts of commission or of affiliates as well, where you're labeling your VIP affiliates, you're labeling your mid-tier affiliates, and then you're able to offer higher commission rates to those higher VIP affiliates that you've placed, due to higher engagement rates, higher historical sales, etc. But we could view that the same way as it pertains to the offer for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? What we have found is to grease up the algorithm very similarly to how you'd run a lead-in campaign for Amazon, is if you have that teaser discount before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then you offer your peak discount for Black Friday, Cyber Weekend. And then after that, you have about a 24 to 48 hour window to really clean up on additional inventory that you might have on hand. That is how you can continue to set parameters around click-through rate and conversion rate for your customer, but also how creators can be incentivized to talk about these different offers. So again, it is very strategic in nature. To Alex's earlier point, it's not just set a discount and forget it. There's a lot that you have to do both leading up to it and even coming out of it, to fine tune that algorithm and keep the momentum going. But Alex, let's switch gears a little bit here, because you've seen it. TikTok Shop has dramatically changed just over the past year, right? It feels like every day you're reporting updates to the team on, hey, here's what's new. And it's something completely out of left field, but it's something super impactful for brands. So how would you describe the evolution that we've seen over the last year?
I mean, it's nothing short of amazing what we've seen on TikTok Shop, both on just the content standpoint and then on the creator standpoint, as well as just on TikTok Shop's backend. TikTok Shop on the backend has really tried to transform the platform into something more also kind of more so like Shopify, where they're kind of diving into the analytics. They're taking a bigger stance on conversion rate, the engagement rate, especially with the creator sample funnels. and how many people are converting, taking a look at the algorithm, giving you recommendations based off of things such as shop ads, how many samples you're sending out, being able to send out reminders to creators, as well as the customer segments, which I know we'll touch on in a little bit. But even as of this year, there was roughly between 1.5 and 1.8 billion users on TikTok, which far outweighs anything you'll see on Amazon. And that's one of the biggest strategies that works in TikTok's favor, is being able to convert those people onto TikTok Shop slowly over time, making it a reliable source, which is also why you'll see the health category and supplements category on TikTok being, I believe in the last month or two, it was over 2 billion in sales, because they're becoming a more trusted foundation of, hey, I can actually purchase all of these necessities or vital supplements, products, and actually see them in action on TikTok, and see somebody that I know personally use them and try them, which has just been an insane rate of growth just over the last year or two.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. And I think what's important to highlight is what TikTok now owns, right? We've known that they own discovery, right? But now they've really sent the customer down the funnel. So they not only own discovery, they own intent, they own conversion, and what they're starting to get better at is they own post-purchase, right? And that's something that Alex just highlighted, in which we're seeing the health and supplement space grow, because we're seeing a shift at TikTok in which they're starting to prioritize some of this repeatable shopping behavior, right? Before, it was a lot of one-time purchases. And we're now starting to see that they're incentivizing customers with subscription, but also they're trying to push that halo impact more now than ever to an Amazon, which we know has already built up the LTV argument on the platform. So that's something that I think we really want to hone in on, is that TikTok Shop isn't just about a viral moment anymore. It's trying to build that more habitual purchasing that Amazon has done so well at in the last decade or so. So, Alex, let's talk a little bit more about that specifically. What is the strategic implication for brands who want longevity on TikTok Shop instead of just viral bursts? What can they do there so that they're not just playing a viral lottery, but they're really starting to build an affiliate ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game is consistency across the board. Uh, we do a lot of things, especially on our end, where we're diving into specifically the customer segments, keeping those creators or customers engaged, keeping your creators and affiliates also engaged at the same time. Obviously, it's great if you have a viral moment, but you don't want that hype to die out after 2 or 3 weeks. So keeping your creators engaged with upcoming launches, sending out messaging to customers and letting them know, hey, we're going to be running this discount in 2 weeks. But also at the same time, you want to make sure for brands not to sell out. You'll see a lot of brands, which is very popular on TikTok. You'll see a lot of brands that start up only on TikTok. You can't find them anywhere else, maybe a D2C site. But one of the biggest things is a lot of those brands will try and sell out immediately. And by that, I mean, you'll see the strike through price on most of their items, be it 75, 80% off. Obviously, some of them might be true, and that's just the correct marketing price. But you'll see that those brands aren't able to enroll in some campaigns in the future, because some campaigns require a 20% minimum discount on your lowest selling price in the last 60 days. So knowing when to not sell out, but also keeping your creators engaged and affiliates engaged by incentivizing them with these different promotions, different launches, pre-order launches, or just sending your affiliates gifts from time to time could also keep them engaged and want the community to promote your product and stay engaged. Another key point is also the organic posting strategy. You want to be engaged in the community. I've preached this to a lot of brands, is the sign of a successful brand is if you see an ad for a specific item or product on TikTok, if you go to the comments and that video has been popping off, more often than not, you'll see that organic shop page commenting on that, whether they're joking or, complimenting the creator. Being in the community is a huge help for a lot of these starting brands, just so you could get your name out there, even if it's only one person who sees it, or two people who see it, however many. You never know what might happen. So it's definitely a great idea to, dive headfirst into that organic posting strategy as well.
Absolutely, Alex. That's a great point there. And what I will really want to highlight that Alex touched on is the community building, right? Again, it's not let's find one affiliate, let's send them a sample, and let's be done with them. Alex said something really important there, and that was re-engaging, right? Adding creators to CRMs, incentivizing them differently depending on how they performed, offering them exclusive offers, whether that's a free gift, whether that's a promo code, right? There's ways in which you could continue to build community on the platform. And yes, there's of course value to taking those creators off platform, but TikTok Shop has launched many new features that allow us to re-engage on the platform specifically. Alex, real quick, because you talked about customer segments, but give us a little bit of what that is as it pertains to TikTok Shop, because I know that that might be something a lot of TikTok Shop brands aren't familiar with. What does this look like in the back end? What are the different segments that you can set up? Expand on that a bit.
Yeah, so basically for customer segments, it's allowing this is TikTok's idea of, re-engagement for the customer side. So you're able to send out promotional coupons. You can set the date range, the validity of the coupons. You could do it for a percentage off or an amount off certain items. You're able to send just new marketing updates. So we've seen, especially for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that TikTok's actually come out with their own Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaign messaging tools where it is re-engaging with these customers, whether they're potential new customers, lapsed customers, abandoned carts. We've seen the messaging be able to go and reach these people, and we've seen conversions on the back end where you might see the number of, oh well, there's only 250 potential new customers, but you'll set up that automation to run for a week with these new messaging or coupons, leave a review coupons, and you'll actually see that conversion down the line, as we've seen for a lot of our more popular brands and even the starting brands. It's kind of just low hanging fruit, to put it simply.
Absolutely. No, that's an awesome point there. Now, let's just close. You have seen a lot of affiliate success. You manage a lot of outreach, you manage a lot of testing, scaling. What are 3 to 5 core principles for dominating the affiliate game on TikTok Shop?
Yeah, I mean, number one that comes to the top of the list is incentives. We've seen this work for a lot of the top brands on TikTok. You have your Goalie, you have your NeuroGum. All those brands are running incentives to their creators, whether that incentive is money driven or if it's product driven. Um, Making those tiers reachable to your affiliates is probably one of the biggest keys that you can have so that creators want to promote the product. They've heard of your product before, and they keep posting videos in order to reach that point. I would say is probably one of the biggest keys. And then also diving back in, you want to get, your commission rate right for affiliates. And also listen to their feedback. So don't be scared to reach out to some of your top performing creators over the last 6 months and say, hey, what changes would you like to see? What could we be doing differently? What would get you excited for a new launch or new product or new price point, new deal? And then also, the next point I would make is probably, offer different trends and ideas to your creators. I know for a lot of messaging or outreach tools, we're unable to send, 6 pages worth of content and be like, hey, can you please post this, post that? Just give them suggestions. Let the creators be themselves. As we reach into this like digital age with AI, videos popping up here and there, and sometimes people are too scared to see what is real and what's not. I think that we're slowly diving back into the creators being more genuine with their content.
Mhm.
You see it across the board of people who are being genuine and it's not looking like a shop ad. Just letting the creators be themselves is more often than not the best strategy. Just have them try the product, have them use it, is also another big key factor that I think is extremely important. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
No, Alex, that is all gold, and I love how you really touched on the affiliate approach specifically. And another thing that I just want to highlight is the offer, right? Because that's often something that we're talking about with brands is, hey, we could have the best affiliate approach in the world, but if you're not building creator-ready SKUs and you're just saying, hey, this is my top performer on Amazon, it's bound to work on TikTok Shop, you're missing the point. right? Because there is a very different rationale for offer on TikTok Shop than there is on Amazon. That's not to say that your hero item on the platform can't work, but there's things like exclusivity, new flavors, limited time drops, bundle offerings that really work well on TikTok Shop. And you need to lean into those hero SKUs that often drive higher LTV as well. So it's important that you master everything that Alex has just talked about. But before you get running, you need to start walking with, hey, do I have the right offer for TikTok Shop specifically? Look at your competition, see what they're offering within the space. How can you highlight some of the white space and capitalize on that as well? But it's really about putting your best foot forward and having an offer that is in the position to convert, not just with the customers, but also with the creators, that they can get excited about that. Alex, anything to add there?
Yeah, I would also say, I mean, I know I touched on it previously, but the creator feedback aspect, one thing that we've encouraged a lot of brands to start doing is obviously you want to have your hero SKU on TikTok. And whether you set that up to match what's on Amazon, we've seen that work for a lot of brands. We've also seen that not work for a lot of brands. So, I mean, one of the biggest suggestions is some of your biggest products, just for the first few months, open those up on open collaboration. See what your creators and the affiliates on the platform are like. Hey, this is interesting, because, one simple product on Amazon could be a treasure find on TikTok, and the content pieces could be unlimited for that. You just don't know it yet. So I would say listen to the numbers, especially with the offer, but also take that feedback from your community and then continue to reinvest in your community. We have a lot of top brands where we see the same, 10 to 15 top creators over, the last 180 days. And the reason we're able to keep them is because A, they love the product. They know who we are. We're keeping them incentivized. And we're also offering things like pre-order bundles for them, where outside of TikTok, we're able to ship them gifts or upcoming launches and be like, hey, you're part of the exclusive group, make them feel special, because they are. They're going to be, for most shops, I always stress that you want them to be the affiliates to be selling at least 70% or higher of your total shop GMV, which is extremely crucial because it is the affiliates at the end of the day that run, your TikTok shop. You can post organically, and you've seen a lot of success for different brands posting organically. But at the end of the day, for anybody to see the organic content, the affiliates have to start pushing it out. And I know a lot of brands are more so focused on the increase of AOV on the platform, because I know that compared to Amazon, where I believe Amazon last year had like 9 billion units moved, and TikTok had, I believe, 500 and something million. Every brand wants to increase their AOV. So to do that, you have to start with the affiliate side. Make these virtual bundle offers without decreasing your price point, and then enrolling in those campaigns, like I mentioned earlier, are going to be the bread and butter.
Alex, I feel like that was just a mic drop moment. You were like, all right, I'm laying it on you. This is it. Do it. Why aren't you doing it already? That was awesome. I feel like I shouldn't say anything else to close because you just nailed it there. So for everyone listening, guys, if you're preparing for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, deals for you days, hopefully you're not still preparing for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but if you are, right, and you're anticipating that period, or even if you're gearing up for Q1 at TikTok Shop, remember, it's not about chasing virality, right? Other agencies will tell you it's about how you could chase virality by just scaling outreach and spraying and praying. That is not what we do here at VENDO. It's all about creating systems that are consistently rewarding the algorithm. And that includes participating in these promotional events, building communities, retargeting affiliates, incentivizing creators differently, right? And ultimately focusing on the retention of your customers. So we appreciate you all for tuning in to Vendo Velocity. We hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. We will definitely chat to review how Black Friday, Cyber Monday played out across all of the marketplaces that we manage at Vendo. But Alex, I hope you have some great plans for Thanksgiving and are eating some great food.
Yes, I can't wait. And again, to Delaney's point, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or in a comment on the video below, and we'd be more than happy to get back to you on those.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time on Vendo Velocity. See you soon.